We all know that Lowe's has a discount clearance rack for houseplants, but did you know that they have a discount clearance rack for flowers, for outdoors? I bought a bunch of them, so we're gonna repot. Let's go. What's going on, my plant peoples? I am the ADHD gardener, where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a form of mental health therapy. And as you can tell by the smile that I have on my face, look at that, $2 a piece. Crazy. Don't believe me? $2. I got this at the clearance rack. Now, normally in Lowe's, they have a clearance rack for, Now, normally I'm not a fan of these kind of pansies. However, I have a bunch of hanging baskets that I want to fill up. Now, this one needed a lot of help. Now, the only reason why it looks good now was because I watered it. That's the only thing I did. When I picked this up, it was all droopy and looking like it was dead. I knew that it was just needing water because of the way the leaves were looking when they droop. If you know about some plants and flowers that have some droopy leaves when they get really dry, however, when you put water in them, they spring right back up. That's exactly what happened here. Now you see there is going to be some, some damage. It is from the clearance. It is from discount. So we need to help this, we need to help these plants out. We're going to be doing a little maintenance on these to make them spring back up and, fill in my hanging basket. Isn't that cool? $2. But not only these pansies that I picked up, no. I also picked up some clearance dahlias. Yo, are you serious? Yes, I am serious. Now these dahlias I picked up at the clearance, of course, outside in the garden center for $7. Now, normally this is actually $17. I know it's backwards in the camera, but this is $17 normally. Now I got it for damn near half a price. What is this, $7? 7 and 17? You know what I mean. Now, the reason why they put this plant on clearance discount out there is because, look, it doesn't look the best. However, us plant people and gardeners know that we can save these plants, and that's what we're going to do by doing some simple transplanting into, another pot. You don't have to do this and transplant into another pot if you don't want to. You can always amend the plant as it is in the container that it came with. However, being that these dahlias are rather large in a small container, I'm going to transplant them. Now, I picked up at Lowe's these hanging baskets. Now, of course, they were not on sale, unfortunately. However, these are still cute. So I picked them up, and actually these are made out of coco coir. So this is going to be an awesome thing to retain a little bit of the moisture. And also it is permeable, which means all the water, that excess water, will be able to drain out right then and there. So this is going to work out awesome. This basket is where I'm going to put a lot of these pansies. One basket per one little basket right here. Now this one has 12 seedlings that I'm going to fill up right here. Now when it comes to filling up these baskets, you actually want an outdoor potting soil. You do not want indoor, you want outdoor. Now you can use just outdoor potting soil, but you really have to make sure that you got good quality potting soil, because a lot of them retain too much moisture, a lot of them don't retain enough moisture. So you really have to make sure that you pick a good brand that you know that you can just plainly use potting soil. I am not using just plain potting soil because the outdoor potting soil that I am not a fan of leaving it by itself. So I'm going to be mixing up my own. Now, if you've been following my videos on grow mediums, then you already know that how much I cannot stand peat moss. However, you could use peat moss. Peat moss and coco coir are interchangeable. So if you don't have coco coir, you can use peat moss and vice versa. Now, having a good portion of peat moss or coco coir inside of your outdoor containers is because they hold on to moisture. Because we all know if you leave outdoor plants in containers outside in the sun for a while, they will dry up. So we need to have something in there that will hold on to some moisture. I also have here is some worm castings. Now we all know that every plant is going to need fertilizer. If you don't have worm casting, that's okay. You can use granular fertilizer too. See, I can use that also if you wanted to, as long as you have a fertilizer inside of your potting soil or your grow medium mix that you're going to be making. I am also going to be using the potting soil. I'm just going to be mixing in this stuff into the potting soil in the container. I'm also going to be mixing in some perlite. Now this is going to encourage some drainage. Mind you, we want to hold on to moisture. However, we don't want to moisture lock it. We want to be able to freely drain all the excess moisture that's left in the soil, because wow, we all know about root rot and that's not cool. Going to mix some of this in. Whoa. Try not to breathe that in because that stuff is rough on your lungs, okay? See how that's looking? That's looking actually really good. Now remember, you don't have to do all of this extra steps. If you find a good quality outdoor potting mix, maybe the only thing that you would have to mix or add in would be perlite, or maybe, you know, it just depends on the brand that you're using. See, my outdoor potting soil mix, it's just not the best at all. I would not put this alone inside of my containers. My plants would not be able to have it. It does not encourage drainage. It's just a mess. That is why I'm mixing it with the other stuff that I have here. Now we grab our basket and fill up at least halfway. Now that we have all of that, we're going to pop out all of our plants. Now this one has 12. I'm going to be filling all 12 of them in this basket. Now with your hands or a shovel, just make a hole in the medium that you just put in there and just pot it up. Doesn't it look pretty good? Now this was starting to get root bound, but that's why it was easier to just pop it out. If you already have your own potting mix and you did not add any amendments or anything, make sure to add fertilizer. You can add your granular fertilizer at the end or the bottom of the hole, or you can actually just mix it in the potting soil before you put it in the container. You don't want your plants on top of each other. However, you could. They don't really need that much space. So, you know, if you find yourself a little crunched for space, you could. I'm not recommending it, but if you're adventurous and a little, you know, why not kind of person like me, I'm gonna go for it. Look at that. That fills up all together right there. Can I fit 3? That's gonna be a little tight. Now keep in mind, that may be a little tight for your plants because they will grow. However, YOLO, and I'm gonna do it. Now, over a while, they will fill up. This one's a little on the smaller side, but they fill up. First thing I'm going to do is actually remove all of the dry, crispy leaves and actually deadhead these plants. All right, remove all this. Wow, this is really dry, so I wouldn't blame it if it needs a lot of water. This awesome plant actually came with 3 separate individual plants in one. So what I'm going to do is actually split them up and, you know, repot them. So now I have 3 plants out of 1. That's going to give me beautiful flowers. We're not going to like this part, but it's happening. Will the flower get into some transplant shock? Probably, most likely. But you know what? We're just gonna have to do it. At least that's just what I'm gonna do. Oh, all right. 3 separate pieces. I'm gonna be leaving the peat moss, whatever the medium it came in, I'm gonna be leaving that as is and then transplanting into a different container. I'm just gonna sit that right there and then fill up right around it. I know it's gonna be a little hard in the beginning. Just hold on to it. The same soil mixture that I made with the pansies is actually inside here. But the difference is that I added compost to this one. Now I got a free compost source from my recycle center. If you haven't seen that video, I'll drop it right up here so you can go check that out. But I have a bunch of compost that actually has not really been sifted yet. So I'm just using that. This one I'm going to add a little bit of worm castings to it. You can add, I forgot to say you can add fertilizer to this. But this one already had compost, so that's probably why I did not add any. All right. Ooh. There we go. Oof, I had to put the shades on because that sun is beaming right on my head right now. But I really hope you enjoyed this video and you're gonna go to Lowe's, go to the clearance rack and see if you can just find some outdoor flowers and plants. I mean, this is a great cheap way to, fill your landscape or fill your garden beds with some flowers at a cheap discount rate. That's crazy. If you did enjoy this video and you want to show me some love, then don't forget to smash that like button. I really appreciate it. Also, don't forget about the notification bell, because if you don't hit the notification bell, then you won't know I'm dropping a video. And last but not least, you can catch me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on there all the time. You can drop me a message. I post funny memes, a little bit of encouragement stuff, a little behind the scenes, and a little bit of venting, because every now and then a girl has got to vent. So until the next episode, you guys, you and me both are going to be growing our happiness one plant at a time, one day at a time. Until the next episode, you guys, peace and love.